Hey all, welcome back to my channel, Crafting with Cami. Today we're creating a single page scrapbook layout and I'm going to be playing with some new items I got from Stampin' Up. I got this Gone Fishing Stamp and Thin Cut. I have it all in the case together here. And I want to say thank you to my subscribers for explaining that this does say two-step. So these are meant to be stamped together. So like this one stamps on top of this one stamps on top of this one, and so forth. So that's really cool. I'm going to be playing with the stamps and layering those and doing that two-step. And there's this water kind of wave here that we'll be playing with, and I'm just really excited to dive into this. My magnetic sheet hasn't come yet, but these are going to be held in here with a magnetic sheet, so it won't be such a mess for long. Hopefully those come soon. Today's layout is going to be documenting my husband fishing. So these weren't taken on the same day, but ironically they are the same location. So he caught this fish while here, but they weren't the exact same day. I'll also be bringing in some older products from close to my heart. So I have this bait and tackle, so I thought maybe that fishing pole, I could bring in a fly, maybe the fish net. He wasn't fly fishing, but look at how beautiful those flies are, so I really want to use that. Same with the fly in the Gone Fishing collection from Stampin' Up. I love that fly too, so it might make an appearance even though he technically wasn't fly fishing. And then the Wild and Free has a fish on it as well. Maybe some arrows. Arrows are always nice to bring in and just add a little more detail to a layout. And then the Hooked on Fishing. There's this little guy fishing. Rise and shine, it's fishing time. Here's another fly and then another little hook. So those might be cute to do some background stamping. This is the Life, Hooked on Fishing. So between some old close to my heart products and Stampin' Up products, we are going to have some fun creating a fishing layout. Let's get started. I am going to do some background stamping on Glacier cardstock. So I'm just going to flip my Versamat over here so that I have that cushion, that foam on the back. And I am going to do this on the dark side of Glacier. And I'm going to test out Stampin' Up's ink pad here, the Pebbled Path. I haven't even opened this yet. I'm going to bring in some scratch paper. So when I go off the edge, I can go onto the scratch paper here. Start with this one here. This little lure. Perfect. And then I'm just going to kind of go in a triangle formation. Okay, so I have kind of a triangle there. To make it look like pattern paper, going off of the page helps. Now this is one of those layered stamps. I could layer this one on top of it, but I want this to be super simple and one-toned. I don't want it to look too busy. All right, I have my stamp chamois here. We'll just get that cleaned up and switch stamps. I am going to bring in the Hooked on Fishing, and I'm going to do those little stamps there. Set that one aside. All right, we're going to start with that little fly here. All right. Don't want to push too hard on this one. It's definitely finer. This one I'm kind of doing triangles, but I'm mostly just trying to fill in. And we'll bring in this little lure. So this is the Close to My Heart love story, and there's this tiny little splatter down here. Okay, so I'm gonna bring in my sapphire ink just for these little splatters here. I think it would look great just like this as well without the splatters, but the splatters did help bring in that sapphire, which will coordinate with more of my embellishments later on in the video. Rotate it around. Okay, I have Stampin' Up's Country Woods collection, and it's all wood grain, and I thought this one looked kind of lakeish. Is lakeish a word? It's gonna be today. So I cut off just a few of those boards. I just went right along that one, so I didn't really measure it, but it comes out to be about 3.5. So I was thinking that could go along the side. And then we could bring our pattern paper maybe down here. I cut these little waves from Journey cardstock. And I thought our waves could kind of come down here. But now I'm wondering if that would have looked better in sapphire. Since we have sapphire here, it almost seems like that should be sapphire. I love how this color in Stampin' Up's collection matches our glacier here. Looks really nice. So then if we bring that here, and then my photos, I was thinking of having kind of in this orientation. And I might matte those in some charcoal. I recut these waves in sapphire, and I do think that just kind of ties in that sapphire better. And my die got a little off right here. It's actually super easy to line it up to keep it going across since it's, you know, shorter. And then I have this leftover piece. I could probably tuck that back behind and give it a little more dimension. Some charcoal. And I think that matches that pretty good. So if we matte our photos, it really doesn't stick out. I might want to move this over then, because I don't really care for the edge lining up with that. It looks like it matches too closely. So I might want to just bump that over a hair. And will I be able to fit both of these on one? Probably not. Let's see what else I have in my scrap. There's another piece of charcoal. We can mat one on there. So I'm going to go ahead and get these two matted. That'll go there. This one here. And then of course I have all of the embellishments that I want to stamp. So I'm thinking a cluster up in here. I cut a stitched circle out of Glacier, so I'm thinking that'll go right back here as a placeholder for all of my embellishments. My title might go over here. I'll also kind of slide this picture back behind these waves maybe. That might look kind of cool. And that gives me more room. Okay, so let's go ahead and flip this back over so we can do our stamping. And I have some white scraps. Okay, so I did bring in sapphire. I have Glacier, but they're going on Glacier, on that circle that's Glacier. So I'm thinking just Sapphire and then maybe that Pebbled Path again. All right, let's start with this one here. I'm going to start with my Pebbled Path. I'm going to stamp that down. And I am going to use the thin cuts, so I'm going to leave some room around them. Perfect. I might do 2 right away while I'm at it, so if I want 2 on the layout or just have extra. And then we're going to use this one on a smaller block with some Sapphire. And I actually think I want 2nd generation Sapphire so that it doesn't cover up too much of the detail. All right. There we go. How cute is that? I love these 2-step stamps. So thank you guys for telling me how to use them. Let's do some bobbers. And I'm going to do those the same way. So I'm going to do Pebbled Path first. Okay, and I'm going to do a couple right away on that one too. And we'll do that one 2nd generation too. I just like how much detail and shading is in these. So I don't want to cover all of that with the 2nd color. We'll make sure that fishing pole is on my block good, and then using that gray ink, we'll go over that again. And we'll hold that down. We'll make a couple of those as well, so we have options. And then I'm grabbing off that fly from that other stamp set, and I'm just practicing a few times. And we'll stamp maybe 3 of those. And then grabbing the other fly from Gone Fishing. And we'll stamp that one a couple times in gray. And then that does have like the wing of the fly that we'll add in 2nd generation Sapphire again. I do like to do my stamping first and then run my dies through the machine. So here I'm just lining those up, and I'll use a little bit of washi tape to tack those down so they don't move on me. With the magic of editing, those are all cut out, and I even did a few extra pieces here. Just out of plain cardstock, charcoal, and Glacier. I have this little piece, and then I cut out this to go over it, like so. So we'll go ahead and tack that down. Let's bring our photos back in. I wanted to know where my title was going to go before I adhered any of my embellishments down so that I could rearrange my pictures and that circle if need be. So my title is going to be Gone Fishing, Fishin', and then I'm going to use this little guy as the apostrophe. These are the outlined alphabet. These were super popular from close to my heart right towards the end here, and they were flying off the shelves. So I managed to get a set of those die cuts. Let's go ahead and start by adhering those. I'm going to make sure that my paper is perfectly straight on my Versamat. I'll bring in my T-square ruler. So we can start with this so we know how close to the edge. I want it all the way up against the edge of the paper. And then we'll probably center the Gone. So how I like to adhere these is by starting with the outline first, and then I will fill in with that inside piece. Using the precision tip on my Barely Art glue makes adhering this super easy. I don't have glue bleeding out the sides or anything. Super convenient. We'll go ahead and start on the gun. And I'm just trying to center it over fishing, but it doesn't end up being perfectly centered, but I'm okay with that. The O is the only letter with that inside piece on this particular layout. So I'm starting with that glacier O, and then we'll go ahead and make sure we don't lose that inside piece here, and we'll put that in. And then it's just a matter of filling in all the letters with the glacier pieces. So I'm just adding a little bit of adhesive and tucking them right into place. Super quick and easy. It's kind of like a puzzle, but you know where all the pieces go. This is a really fun die cut to play around with, and it makes for a nice statement title. I put glue on the wrong S there. As you could see, it was the charcoal one, so I just set that aside and grabbed out that glacier S. Just a few more letters here. So now if I wanted to use this title for something else, I could either do reverse, I could do the charcoal on the inside and the glacier as the border, or I could just use one or the other, because I have gone fishing in the complete reverse because it always cuts out both. So I'll hang on to those, and I might want to use them on another project sometime. Okay, I inked some sapphire ink around there. I got all of this adhered. So let's try placing our embellishments. I want some to go over the photo, some to go under the photo. Let's just kind of play around here. And I didn't put adhesive on these sides of the photos so that I could layer on top, or layer underneath, sorry. I like how the fishing pole is underlining that title. Let's see if I want to move it anywhere else, but I think I like it there. And I'm just going to continue tucking some of these embellishments in. I'm kind of trying to separate all of the sapphire blue with some of the charcoal pieces. So I'm adhering that fishing pole down, and I know I want this bobber in the corner. And then, yeah, just tucking in some of that charcoal paper back here. And then we'll add this lure right about there. And I'm just using my liquid glue on everything. You could use some Pop Dots 3D foam tape, but I kind of wanted it more flat, and I didn't want a whole lot of bulk in this album. So I'll just keep on tucking these around. I think it looks nice having things layered. These little charcoal pieces will add a little more dimension and depth to our cluster, since it's a lot of sapphire. Okay, I might add the location down here, which I could do one of those little geo. Maybe I should do that. I'm thinking it needs something up top though. I cut a little tab out of sapphire, and I did it in that curved one, kind of to bring up that about there. And then I could even bring in some more flies and whatnot. I fuss around with this cluster quite a bit. I don't want it to look like the hooks are right above my husband's head. It just looked a little awkward. And I don't want it perfectly like mistletoe either. So figuring out this cluster was a little more tricky for me, but I ended up tucking some of the flies around, and then having the hooks upward rather than down towards his head helped. And again, I'm just kind of separating all of the sapphire with some glacier and some charcoal pieces. And I think this cluster turned out pretty good. I got all of the embellishments down, and I added some stamping. So I did some splatter stamps. You know I love my splatter stamps. And I kind of had it trickle down into this embellishment cluster. And then I have the location. I love our pattern paper. I used a different splatter stamp than this one. This one's from the Perfectly Imperfect from Close to My Heart. All right, let me know what you think. This is my first time using the Stampin' Up! Gone Fishing on a scrapbook layout, and I think I used them properly this time. I did the the two-step stamping, so lots of fun. Definitely excited to do more fishing layouts with this, so don't be surprised when that comes up here soon on my channel. If it brought you inspiration, please give this video a big thumbs up. It really helps my channel grow. If you're not already a subscriber, I'd love for you to subscribe and join my little community here on YouTube. I hope this video brought you inspiration, and until next time, live a life worth scrapping. Bye.